Hello Leo, and welcome to your in-depth forecast for December for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you a broad overview of what to expect, but please stay with me. I will dive deeper to give you all the ins and outs, particularly relevant to your sign. Now, as we come into the month, there's a brilliant lineup of planets. The Sun, the luminary in chief, but also Mercury and Venus in your sister fire sign of Sagittarius. This gives you an enormous opportunity, particularly in the first week or so, to really demonstrate the full range of your warmth, affection, and magnificence. So a real chance to be more playful, to mix and mingle where possible. Now, there is an incredibly powerful full moon in the sign of Gemini, which occurs on the 8th, which is also going to be activated by Mars, the planet of passion, which is in your sector of friendship. So that's really interesting. I need to tell you about that. Also, Jupiter, the planet of growth. Both Mars and Jupiter govern the decans beyond the Sun in your sign. Jupiter decan 2, Mars decan 3, and Jupiter moves back into your sister sign of Aries on the 20th, and that's going to give you a real desire to be more adventurous and break out in some kind of way. But of course, there's been a really difficult right angle between Saturn and Uranus, which has dominated over the last couple of years. If there has been some politics around certain ties in your life, perhaps even professional ones, it wouldn't be a complete surprise. But from the 3rd of this month, the square is stretching out beyond the 3 degrees that I take into account of the exact 90-degree angle. So I think that tension's going to be easing. Also, Neptune has been really having quite a challenging impact on Mars through October and November. So if there has been some, disillusionment around some of your longer term hopes or even your financial situation, as Neptune goes direct on the 4th, that aspect also starts to dissipate, so that's great news. But we have a great link between the Sun and Saturn week 2, and then we have the winter solstice and a big shift of energy as the month goes on into a more practical sphere. And as you plan for year 2023, I do feel that your New Year's resolutions can be very rooted. Most of us try to find one or two things that we want to improve upon as the year comes to a close, but I think there's going to be a lot of thinking about where you work, how you work there, and whom with as the year comes to a close. So much to share with you. Please stay with me. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand what year 2023 will hold for you personally, if you give me 3 pieces of birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you your forecast. If you order it in year 22, you'll get the rest of that year free. Plus, in my special package, you can get your life roadmap, your character analysis. Having this will help you to understand some of the repetitive patterns that have come up in your existence, perhaps the more challenging ones, but also the ones that give you opportunities. And having a deeper understanding of those can help you to really flourish in this new year. In my special package, you can get 30% off, so please see the link beneath this video. Also, if you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you already have, thank you so much for your continued support and views. So Leo, as you come into December, that collective in Sagittarius is very uplifting. But it is true that on the 6th, Mercury is going to be moving out of the sign of Sagittarius, where it is technically in detriment, and into the business-like sign of Capricorn. But if there are plans to be made in terms of visitors or travel arrangements, the detail of things, I think Pluto has really been supporting you since 2008 in being very productive in those areas, and Mercury's going to augment that from the 6th. But on the 8th, the full moon sees the moon in Gemini, which is very bright and bubbly, in a conjunction with Mars. If you feel in your social world or even in your romantic world that somebody is imposing in some way their expectations upon you, it's not necessarily outright control, you could find yourself in quite a rebellious mood on the back of this particular full moon. It could see you wanting to take a much firmer control over your time management in the following 2 weeks, set some boundaries, whether it is with some certain friends or it is around a romantic involvement. But the moon and Mars together can be a bit volatile. So if there are some truths, the 11th house, very Aquarius, can be about being quite frank, particularly about what you want from your future. You may assert them in a bit more of a cutting way. Now, Venus is going to be moving on the 10th to join up with Mercury and to meet eventually later in the month, both of them, with Pluto. Now, Pluto, as I mentioned, has had a massive impact since 2008, but Venus moving into your 6th house suggests that your ability to get on in a pragmatic and realistic way with people in your everyday associations, but also find those ways in which you can be cooperative and helpful, that's boosted. Week 2, Saturn, which has been in that very, very difficult right angle with Uranus until the 3rd of this month, within 3 degrees over the last couple of years, well, that's forging a very constructive link with the Sun. If there is a way that you can demonstrate to others your talents, you can expand something. Saturn obviously asks us to do things in a step-by-step, very systematic and very well planned and executed manner. But here you can attach flair to your discipline in a very positive way. But the 10th through to the 17th is a little echo of the type of energy you have with the square between Mars and Neptune. It's just the Sun is in your 5th house, which is where you need to showcase your individuality. Neptune in the 8th house, where we're often most devoted. But it can also be about our long-term financial situation in a more practical way. So if finance, and of course for a lot of us we're needing to reset our approach, if finance is a worry for you, it's important to try to set the expectations of people who rely upon you at as a realistic level as possible, because Neptune can be very distorting. But also if you feel that you do a job and don't get the recognition that you would like, maybe this square between the Sun and Neptune, it might just trim down your physical vitality, but it also can see you thinking about how you could change things, because the 8th house is about evolution and your imagination through Neptune can be important to the process. It's just how you monetize it. And then on the 20th, as Jupiter moves out of your 8th house, where, to be honest, in the previous 4 weeks, it has given you a window of opportunity to benefit somehow from a business deal, a legacy, an insurance payout. But as it moves into your 9th house, expansions in the air. It's just that the winter solstice is in that 6th house, the same as Mercury, Venus and Pluto, much more about discipline. The 9th house is much more about freedom. With freedom comes responsibility. So this winter solstice is saying you're going to have to toggle the things that you know you have to do and you want to do to assist others, with another part of you that might want to get out and about and just be much more spontaneous. But the Sun square Jupiter can be very generous, and that also can be one of your greatest qualities. The new moon at the 23rd, that is also pushing you to try to find ways to revolutionize your daily routines. Now that may sound profoundly unsexy during a festive period, and in fact Christmas Day does see the moon in your sector of relating forging a gorgeous link with Jupiter. But I think as this month comes to a close, because Venus and Mercury are together, Mercury goes into a retrograde in your 6th house, and Venus then connects to Pluto in a very deep way. I feel where you're of service, where you structure your life, it may not sound very enticing stuff, but I think that you're going to be quite determined as year 2022 comes to a close and you set your intentions for the new year. I think you're going to be very determined to get a good balance between what you want to expand and embrace in a more exciting and enlivening manner with the areas that you want to make work more efficiently, because that can make us feel grounded. So if you find yourself being a bit thriftier towards the end of the year, or being a bit more conscious about what you eat and drink, or planning a new exercise regime, it really wouldn't be a surprise. But the big picture of all of this, I feel, is that you're wanting to get the part of your existence which helps you to showcase your individuality to mesh together well with how you actually see the tangible results. And it's not just about demonstrating the full range of your personality. That comes very naturally to you. I think you're wanting to see a return, and that essentially is what this month is about. I'd like to wish you a very happy Christmas. If you are going to be on your own, and that's not a choice, you'll be very much in my thoughts, and all the best for year 2023.